from our 7 Tasmania studios. Your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
State Parliament returning with plenty of vigour after the 5-week winter break. Health dominating, with right to information documents revealing just how long Tasmanians are waiting to receive critical care.
The opposition returned to the House ready to pounce after the winter recess, demanding answers over how long Tasmanians are waiting to receive care.
There are people who have been stuck on the waiting list to see a specialist for more than 11 years. These are Category 2 patients who should have been seen within 3 months.
The Premier firing back, claiming the government is recruiting more healthcare staff now than it ever has.
The budget will demonstrate is that we will continue to invest in frontline services, continue to invest in health.
But refusing to rule out redundancies.
Will you rule out any cuts to budgets, services or staff in the Department of Health or the Tasmanian Health Service?
We're investing in health services, we're recruiting more health professionals.
Hello, we're employing more healthcare workers, more.
Even placing an ad in a newspaper to persuade Victorian healthcare workers to make the move south.
If we were supporting staff within the healthcare service, they would find their workplace a better place for them to work. They'd be more likely to stay, and we wouldn't have this need to be advertising all around the country.
At a time when health workers are working in the most stressed conditions that we've seen in this state's history, the government doesn't have their back.
The issues of staffing and recruitment proving an ongoing ailment. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Dozens of protesters say they'll be camping out on Parliament lawns until the Premier agrees to meet with Aboriginal leaders and commit to a treaty in Tasmania. A treaty group sent a draft bill to the government 2 years ago but says it hasn't received a reply.
If you are not going to honour the Aboriginal people as you honour the white people represented by those flags, then take the flag down.
The Attorney-General says reconciliation efforts should unite Tasmanians. Members of the Jackie Lambie Network say they won't be supporting the government's proposed legislation that could potentially block UTAS from putting its Sandy Bay campus up for sale. JLN member for Lyons, Andrew Jenner, says the bill could put educational outcomes and housing opportunities at risk.
Well, I don't think the government really needs to be involved in whether UTAS develops its property.
If passed, both Houses of Parliament will still need to agree on whether the land can be sold or leased. Greater Hobart's mayors are joining forces, calling for the state and federal governments to immediately resolve and deliver on Macquarie Wharf repairs and upgrades. Originally announced in March 2021, the council leaders say 3 years on there's been no action and are concerned the delays could put Hobart's status as an Antarctic gateway in jeopardy. The mayors hope public hearings about Antarctica's importance to Australia's interests in Hobart this week will put the pressure on decision makers. It's no secret Tasmania has some of the most prized golf courses in the world, with record numbers flocking to our famous greens. Now, a new contender is putting its name in the mix as an 18-hole course development at 5 Mile Beach prepares to tee off.
Home to Australia's best Cape Wickham and the internationally renowned Barnbougle, Tasmania is ready to add another top course to the world stage, this time just a stone's throw from Hobart.
You know, from a golfer, it's just incredible to have these fantastic golf courses right on your doorstep.
Clarence City Council giving the 18-hole course at 5 Mile Beach the green light, adding to the already approved nearby 7 Mile site.
Nowhere like it in the world, so we have these 2 very different pieces of land that can produce 2 very different world-class golf courses.
This will deliver economic and social benefits like we have never seen before. This is huge.
This latest development, a hole-in-one for local operators, cementing Tasmania's reputation as a golf tourism mecca.
Tassie, no doubt, punches above its weight. The name is really getting out there that Tasmania is that golf destination.
Busily preparing for the perfect shot once the course is up and running.
For us, it's always a combination of what we can also increase tourism-wise locally with the wineries, the distilleries, etc., and really showcasing what Tasmania has to offer.
And shake up the local game.
It'll be one of the largest projects in southern Tasmania, and definitely one, we're hoping to have the same sort of, have that Mona effect all over again, but for golf tourism.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
Collingwood has been rocked by a new racism scandal that goes all the way to the top of the club. Shocking claims have been levelled at Chief Executive Craig Kelly, saying he repeatedly targeted an employee with racist slurs and painful physical assaults. Mark Cleaver, who identifies as a Palawa person from Tasmania, is claiming unfair dismissal from their job at Collingwood, managing some of its First Nations programs. Mark Cleaver's lawyer is pushing for the AFL to penalise the club with premiership points. Late today, Collingwood said it will vigorously defend Craig Kelly, a court hearing listed for August. A community pantry has been placed in Launceston's Civic Square to provide food for those doing it tough. The council installed the food cabinet to allow people experiencing food insecurity to access non-perishable items safely and freely.
It's not just for those who might be homeless or sleeping rough. It really is for everyone in the community, but particularly based around those who might be financially struggling or right at the end of their means with the cost of living that's there at the moment.
Those wishing to make donations are encouraged to do so with the pantry under the watchful eye of police. The fairy godmother is busy waving her magic wand ahead of Newstead College's musical rendition of Cinderella. The 25-strong cast is spinning into the ballroom, with many performers preparing to take to the stage for the first time.
The costumes and the lights, it's all different, and the makeup as well. But no, I love my costumes, just getting changed, and it makes me feel, really cool, like a superhero.
I may never come down to earth again.
Audiences are being promised a fairy tale 4-day run with curtains opening tomorrow night. And students have been actively planting a plethora of trees on their high school farm as part of an agriculture course Exeter High School is pioneering. The program giving the Northern Tasmanian students who enrolled in it first-hand knowledge of the link between forestry and agriculture.
Getting down and dirty on Exeter High School's farm. Agriculture students digging in to plant almost 600 native trees. The project forming a shelter belt to protect the paddock.
We run sheep cattle enterprises which the students manage. Our year 11s and 12s, again, that's part of their course that they have to do, and our year 7 to 10s also engage in the daily husbandry and care for the livestock.
14 year 11 and 12 students are enrolled in an agriculture certificate at the school, the program providing opportunities to take ownership of projects and learn best practice farming methods.
Agriculture's been in my life a very long time, and when I found out that there was a year 11-12 course, I was like, I'm not going to any other college, staying at Exeter and living out my passion.
Maya grew up on a dairy farm in New Zealand and is relishing her involvement in the agriculture program since moving to Tasmania.
I'm leaving next year, obviously, so I'm trying to get out and look for jobs at the moment. My dream job is working out on a station and going mustering and all that.
The school partnering with industry to equip young people with practical knowledge. The tree planting project, one of those collaborations.
So we're supporting schools across the state, particularly those with school farms, with opportunities for students to be out in the field learning about the role of trees in the agricultural landscape.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
With 5 Hockey Premier League games left before finals, few teams are looking as solid a chance as the Canterbury men, fresh off a 4-1 win over University. But they haven't been untouchable this season, which is something they're working on.
Just kind of put teams away earlier, so it's not kind of close in the last 10 minutes or so, and that's when you kind of make or break games, so we need to be able to do that a bit earlier.
The Uni women have come in leaps and bounds this year, sitting atop the ladder, and the future's looking bright.
We've got some imports from Argentina, 2 that played last year, so we've built on that, and we've got a wealth of young talent coming through.
Those Argentinians, Nai Moreno is the comp's leading scorer. Drivers are promising plenty of thrills and spills when Supercars returns to Symmons Plains in just over a fortnight. In addition to the unique track layout, the winter weather will add another challenge into the mix for the teams. Checking out some of the horsepower from yesteryear at Launceston's National Automotive Museum, these drivers know there's a good chance their rides will be far from mint condition by the time Simmons Plains is done with them.
You know, we've got 2 long straights into the tightest hairpin on our calendar, so that's always pretty entertaining when we're all trying to go into there side by side.
Standard procedure goes out the window for the Tasmanian Super Sprint, tweaking everything to try for that split-second advantage.
Even looking at fine details like gear shift points and maybe detail that we probably wouldn't go into at some of the other circuits.
Here for the first time since 2019 and off contract for next year, Richie Stanaway's hoping the race provides a good lead into Bathurst after claiming it last year with Shane van Gisbergen.
Just feel pretty comfortable around there, and hopefully it lines up well with just having more time in the car throughout the year.
The move to August for the Tassie leg has its advantages.
You can get in the car and not get out of it having lost a couple litres of sweat, and we don't have to run the cooling system that we normally have to run for the driver, which can be quite cumbersome.
But beyond driver comfort, the cooler weather brings with it headaches which will need to be overcome.
Definitely some challenges from an engineering aspect, you know, trying to get the tyres up for quali for one lap and things like that, which will be, you know, very different to, say, racing in Darwin.
Waters is full of praise for Launceston's Lockie Dalton, who joined his Tickford team as a Supercars wildcard for the Sydney Super Sprint.
He did a really good job. It's a massive step up from, you know, Super 2 into the main series, and he probably picked one of the hardest tracks to go to as well.
And Kim, I know you were jealous you didn't get to meet Cam Waters today, but the good news is all the drivers will be signing autographs at Superfest at the Automobile Museum on August 15.
OK, that will be popular, no doubt. Thanks, Nick. Peter Murphy will join us after the break with the weather forecast.
Good evening. Well, the sun was out over most of Tasmania and it looked like summer, apart from the numbers. Just 13 in Hobart and Launceston, 12 for Devonport and Burnie. Ross, Fingal and Lyreweenie are low with -5. King Island under some cloud. It reached only 14 degrees after the early showers. Ouse and Strawn 13 today. St Helens 12. Lowhead, Grove and Flinders Island all 11. A fair section of the Midlands, South East, Central North and the North Coast remained clear today. Just a little bit around the East Coast and the West. Cloud rotates around a low over the Tasman Sea. Low cloud is over parts of Victoria and coastal New South Wales. Tomorrow, the high remains hovering over our region, maintaining that ridge over eastern and central areas. A cold front is approaching WA. Winds all at around 5 to 15 knots tomorrow, southeasterly over the east and northern waters and more northerly over the west and south. Hobart tomorrow 13, 14 for Geefston, a morning frost for Bothwell, -2 to 11 the temperature range. Launceston a high of 13 degrees after a morning frost, Devonport 13, Cressy 13 degrees. Fine for Burnie tomorrow, bit of sunshine and 12, 13 for Strawn, partly cloudy on King Island, 13 for Curry. 13 the top for St Helens, Swansea 14 degrees, 13 at Orford. On to Thursday now, a possible light shower over the northeast and northwest, otherwise fine. Similar weather for Friday along with patchy morning frost and valley fog. And showers back to kick off the weekend, mainly over the west and north. They'll contract to the west later. Rain increasing and a possible storm in Perth, partly cloudy in Adelaide. A cold but fine day in Melbourne. Actually, they'll be the coldest capital tomorrow. A shower or two and 16 for Sydney, sunny and 21 in Brisbane. And cool and cloudy conditions at the moment. And just for you, Kim, for the next week, 28 degrees in Canggu, so you can love your 5-star celebrity beach club holiday.
Thank you, Murph. And that is all your news for now. I am on a break for the next 2 weeks and leaving Murph in charge, can you believe it, along with Michael Maney. Thanks for your company tonight. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good night.